What to look for when enrolling in an online copywriting course. Hello, I'm Bernadette Schwerdt, and I've trained over 10,000 people to become successful freelance copywriters. So before we actually head over into looking at what you need to know about enrolling in an online course, how about you head to my website called copyschool.com, where you can discover a whole raft of resources and videos and templates that will help you actually get your copywriting career off and running right now. So you might be wondering, well, what do you need to know before you enroll in an online copywriting course? The first thing I'd say is look at the breadth of the training that's being offered to you. So you might think at this point you love email copywriting, or it might be SEO copywriting, but there might be a whole bunch of other kinds of copywriting genres that you're not even aware of that could really float your boat and could actually lead you into directions that might really generate a lot more income than what you might have already thought. So make sure that whatever you enroll in covers everything: email, SEO, blog writing, web writing, brochure writing, conceptual development, brand storytelling, all these kinds of things that will broaden your knowledge around copywriting and give you the true flavor of what all these different little genres can offer you. Because until you've explored them and understood them, it's very hard to know what they actually involve. And it will just leave you with being a much more experienced and confident copywriter. So if people do ask you to write something, you can go, yep, I can do that. The other thing to think about is that when you enroll in a course, you want the course providers to have been around for a little bit of time, because the longer they've been in the market, chances are the more successful they've been at actually helping copywriters get started. Just try and avoid the fly-by-nighters who have maybe been in it for just a blink, and really just investigate the providers have been around for a while, because you don't get to stick around if you're not succeeding. You want tried and tested and proven providers who've been around for at least a decade. We've been around for 2 decades, and the proof is in the pudding. And look at the success stories of the clients and the students that they've actually trained, because that will truly tell you how good they are. The other thing to look at in an online copywriting course are the systems that they teach you on actually how to write, because it's okay to just learn how to do one thing or 2 things, but what you really want is a structure that enables you to, once you have that, to write for any medium, at any time, for any industry, any product, any category. And that's what we do. We teach you a 7-step structure on how to write copy for anything. And once you have that, the minute you sit down to write something, you've got to weigh in. Do consider the structures, the templates, and the processes that you might be learning, because it's not enough just to know how to write one thing. You want to know how to write for everything. And if you get the right training with the right systems and processes and structures, you can turn your hand to any product very quickly and become an expert at that so much more quickly. In fact, you'll probably know more than the client by the end of the processes that we take you through, because it's just so comprehensive. One thing about online courses that a lot of people find unsettling or a little unuseful, if that's a word, is there's no contact, right? So once they enroll, they're on their own, and it's just them and their computer, and that's not very inspiring, because it's really easy to fall off the perch and not do it and just lose your whole motivation for starting. So you really want a course that's got a community, that's got a contact at the end of the line, so that you can get feedback on your work, so you can share your wins, you can share your commiserations when things don't go well, because writing can be a lonely business. And if you don't have that community to help you unload a little and share in some of those, wins and losses, it can get a bit isolating, and you don't want that, because you want to have fun with this job, right? It's one of the most enjoyable jobs that you can have, but by having a community around you, it's going to make life a lot easier. The other thing to think about is, can you get feedback on your work? Because you might be writing in isolation and a bit of an echo chamber, and you don't actually know with what you're writing is any good or not. So by being able to get feedback on your work, it'll give you the confidence to think you're on the right track, or it'll give you the instructions to actually get back on the track. And so by the time you actually submit your work to a client, you can do so with confidence, knowing it's been looked at maybe, or you've got some affirmation that you've ticked all the right boxes so that you can not only present it with confidence, but you can justify it and defend it should the client ask you some questions around it. Another thing to consider is the qualifications of the trainers, because it's one thing to be able to write copy, and that's a skill set in itself, but to actually train how to write copy, that's another skill set that really is not that easy to come by. And the people who can do that are the people who've actually been doing it for some time. They see the patterns, they see the commonalities, they see what works and what doesn't, and they're able to extract a pattern around it, a formula for writing. So make sure that whoever you choose has got that depth of experience, not just as a copywriter, but actually as a trainer, instruction designer, so that they can communicate the principles with clarity and congruence. The other thing you might want to consider is the track record of the trainers. And now I've sort of touched on this a little bit, but you really want to look at the success stories of those that they've trained, because that is really the proof is in the pudding. So if you look at our track record, we've trained some amazing copywriters. In fact, some of Australia's top copywriters have come through our course. People like Ben Keenan, who just started doing the course, and he went on to become the creative director of Clemenger BBDO in Australia, and went on to win 28 Cannes Lion Awards, which is the highest accolade in the advertising world, and has now gone on to have a stellar career in the copywriting industry, and not just copywriting, but creative directing and brand management and things like that. People like Hugh Southall, who started off again in the course and became the head of communications and content at Amazon in the United States. People like Sophia Auld, who was a physiotherapist who worked as a physio for 30 years and decided that she really wanted to indulge her childhood passion of writing. So she merged those two careers of physiotherapy and copywriting, and is now a leading medical and healthcare copywriter, and started off earning 25,000 in her first year and then built up to 100,000 plus in her third year. And she's now doing that consistently. So do look at the success stories of people who've come through the course that you're about to enroll in, because you can't really fake that. They are the people that will really be the litmus test as to whether the course is working or not. So do look into those case studies to make sure that they fit the bill. So that's it for me. And remember to head over to copyschool.com to get those resources and those templates and those videos that will help you get your copywriting career off to a great start. So good luck and happy writing.